Well, thank you for staying with us. Time now for the news review. Without mincing words, let's say a very good morning to Dr. Kwame Asasante. Always good to have you here. Doc, good morning. You may have to unmute.
Yes. Good morning, Ben. Are you okay?
Yes, it's better now. I can hear you loud and clear. So we'll be delving into the papers shortly, but there are quite a number of matters, some of which the papers pick up, but others of relevance that we'll be looking at. So we'll start with the Senior Staff Association, Universities of Ghana, not University of Ghana, Universities of Ghana, and the stalemate from yesterday's engagement between teachers, that is labor, and government. Walkouts, requests for inner conversation or further conversation and all of that. I know you followed all of it, but what is the situation now, especially because at the end of the day, then we see the Senior Staff Association, Universities of Ghana also stepping in to declare a strike. What is going on? I mean, on your front, because you're a lecturer as well.
If you look at the situation, we are really in a mess. I must be blunt on this.
Right.
It appears to me that the government is bereft of ideas with regard to how to handle these things. And that's why you are getting one strike following another one. All right. There must be a strategy, a labor strategy or industrial relations strategy on the part of government to deal with this. You don't sit down for these things to take you by surprise. So the state we find ourselves is not a good one. Over the years, you realize that labor agitations has been fought in an ad hoc manner. Why am I saying that? Anytime people go hit the street expressing their concern about their working conditions, you see the Labor Commission armed with the power of the law to rush to the courts, declare their actions as illegal and whatnot. Instead of delving into the issues, they scratch the surface of the issues, and at the end of the day, when they resort to what advocacy on the part of eminent people to deal with this thing when matters get worse and all that, that is not the way to handle issues permanently. So all these things have bottled up for years, and that is why we are seeing some of this. I am worried because, you see, as a student of politics, I look at what happened in 1970s where there were a lot of labor agitations. I pray that we don't get there because that one always affects the quality of governance, and I'm not praying for that at all. So it is my humble opinion that those who matter in this issue will sit down with the agitators or the labor, the workers, and then discuss these things and find common ground so that they can address this thing. And then we stop, setting pusher. We stop all manner of promises and all that. Let us come to the table, discuss them, and proper solution that would deal with this issue head on.
But Doc, sitting at the table discussing them, you've done this time without number. It's not leading to anything. And now you're saying, for example, that those in authority are bereft of ideas. They really don't know what to do. In fact, they shouldn't have waited for this to happen. So sitting at the table, is it going to resolve the matter?
By all means, you need dialogue to deal with this.
Dialogue is failing. Dialogue failed yesterday. The teachers went there at a point they had to request to move out. Government officials left, didn't come back for over an hour and all of that. It doesn't appear dialogue is working.
Yes, you still have to go to dialogue. Why am I saying that? Because maybe there is an unfinished business. There's something that government might have promised them and did not deliver. This is the time to touch on it and then show commitment that you are ready for business. Then people can sit down and talk to you. But if you want to, throw it away or discount it, I'm afraid you are going to have a lot of them coming up. And that is what we don't wish for ourselves. Because if you look at our economic situation now, and even the whole country, we are hot in terms of our economic needs and what have you. So we cannot compound the situation with this labor unrest and all that. So those who manage these affairs must really do the hard thinking to arrive at something that will really inure to the benefit of everybody. Otherwise, look, we'll be in very difficult situation that nobody want to wish that for the country. Yeah.
And speaking of difficult situations, apart from that front, there's more of a mess going, down the strata when we talk about senior high education. But so we know that strike, that industrial action of the university teachers, the University Senior Staff Association, Universities of Ghana, commences today. There's also the bit about feeding for those at the senior high school level. It's interesting, just was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I was going by, the Togo Embassy area, that roundabout. Yeah. That's where the buffer stock has its office, at least one of them. And I was just contemplating some of the things we've seen in recent times, schools, senior high schools complaining in the Upper West region and different parts of the Northern Belt, down south as well. Students don't have food. Some of them are sitting exams and all of that. Even yesterday, we had cause to, interact with more students. I have had blunt interactions with some people. The Deputy General Secretary of the Public Services Workers Union, PSWU, Mr. Sampa, for example, told me the other day, look, we're in dire straits as a country. We have a number of flagship programs. If we feel some of them are draining us, especially as we're going to the IMF, change course on some of them. Don't scrap something like free SHS. Don't scrap it. I admit it's a good thing. I'm sure you admit same. But
I do.
Can some people pay? It's not everybody who needs it for free. Can we restructure some of these things so that not all of the burden is on government? What is your take? Because this is becoming problematic.
Yes. You see, any policy, when you go through, at the end of the day, you do evaluation and see whether you have to continue or not. That is public policy, because anything called public policy, it means state is funding. And where the state is not ensuring value for money, then you have to take a different route. So I am surprised that up to date, we still want to continue with the old order, which is creating problems for us. There are a number of flashy programs that people think that they have outlived their usefulness. You take them off. I listened to the former chairman of Finance Committee of Parliament saying that, look, planting for food and jobs, what has it brought and all that. If these things are anything to go by, then you have to take a second look, evaluate them, and then if there is a need to cancel them, you cancel them, then you save some money and address other challenges. Otherwise, you'll be inundated with cases and problems that you cannot handle. But that is not governance is all about. Governance is about making use of the resources available to you and make life better for people. So if you cannot, then your capacity is weak in terms of what? Administration. That is my difficulty.
Let's get into the Daily Graphic newspaper now. And who wins NPP Chairmanship contest? 3 emerge frontrunners. Pictured here, Stephen Ayesu and Tim. He's a familiar face, 5-time contestant. There's also Stephen Amwa Boateng Asabi, if you like, first-time contestant. And then George Kwabena Abankwai Yebua, first-time contestant. Now, all of them are going for the chairmanship slot. 6,730 delegates are to decide their fate. Yesterday, we saw a statement, a release, if you like, from the camp of Stephen Ayesu and team, talking about his communications team, those that the media can reach out to, and all of that. But these are the 3 stalwarts of the New Patriotic Party who are expected to be the front runners. Now, you can see that statement on your screen. Stephen and team appointing spokespersons, Kamaldeen Abdullahi, Honorable George Anda, interesting one there, Joyce Zempare and Kofi Ameyao, who are going to be speaking on his behalf and handling his affairs in terms of campaigning ahead of Saturday. Your quick thoughts. So I want your general reflection. First of all, on Stephen and team, who is perennial when it comes to this race. This is his 5th contest. He's had hard luck a number of times. This time, the person who would have been front runner, so the current chairman of the party, Freddie Wasimeu Blay, is stepping down. Aikwe has also decided to not be in the race. Now, these are the stalwarts. Is it time for Stephen Ntim? And do you think he can carry the party to break the 8?
The first hurdle you need to cross is to gain the mandate of the people to lead the party as a chairman. And that is the difficult task he's facing. Because over the years, there's no doubt, he's a very astute politician. He has served his party well, and he flows with the rank and file of the party. There's no doubt about that. He's a man of ideas and all that. But unfortunately, we have seen that he has not been able to cross the Rubicon. This time around, what is he bringing that's on board that will really change the narrative? I believe that in context of this nature, you need somebody who is strategic, you need somebody who has resources, and you need somebody who also has the message. This is the way we have to gauge the personalities who are contesting. I believe Steve has done a lot in terms of message delivery. They resonate with the people who are going to vote. For strategy, he's a man of strategy. I have no doubt in my mind that he can take advantage of what are under his sleeves and then, implement to his satisfaction. In terms of resources, I can't speak much because I don't know the resources they have. But I can say without fear of contradiction that once they are in this race, they find means of financing themselves. So it's not going to be easy because giving the other colleagues who are contesting, they are also giants. And that is not going to be easy.
And that is the interesting bit. Even apart from Asabi, I would also ask you briefly about what do you think about his chances as a first-time contender, Stephen Asamoah Boateng. I've seen him talking up a storm in recent times, and George Kwabena Abankwah, also a first-time contestant. There are others that we cannot write off because on election day, anything could happen, like Sir John says. We'll be bringing in Sir John shortly. But we also have Professor Christopher Ameyawe Kumfi. We all know him. Akwesi Osei J, Sami Crab, and Gifty Asantewa Aye, also known as Davi Ama. All of these people are in the race.
Yes, they are great guys. Because if you look at somebody like Akwesi Osei J, a former deputy minister for industry, trade and industry, and then he became deputy minister for foreign affairs. Great guy. He was one of the lieutenants of President Kufuor. He did a lot. He was the one who really, introduced this Friday War before it was taken over by Mr. Alam Chamating and all that. Yes, he's somebody who can also spring a surprise. He's calm, very quiet, but he's very strategic. He has ideas, and he flows with the rank and file of the people. He has constituencies within the party that if they are going to vote for him, it's going to be massive. We can also not discount Professor Ameyawe Kumfi, former Director General of Ghana Education Service. He became Minister of Education, a great, lecturer and all that. He also has followers. And when he became a minister, he served his country very well. He's very articulate. He has ideas. And he'll be able to, when he was a minister, weather the storm within his ministry and all that. He's a very important figure for this race. So the race is not going to be easy. Look at Asamoah Boateng, a very quality material at that level. He has been in student politics when he was a student, NUCS for that matter. He has also served his country very well in various capacities as a minister, as a CEO and whatnot. And he's a party man. He flows with the rank and file of the country, and he's known in every nook and cranny of the country. And I tell you, I have no doubt in my mind that this is going to be a daunting task for whoever will emerge victorious. But at the end of the day, we know that election will produce one winner, and then the party will rally behind that person to fight the 2024 battle.
Let's check out some other stories from the Daily Graphic newspaper. I'll turn to page 13, where there are two major headlines. The first one, government retreats, discusses way forward for economy, and the government has held a 4-day retreat at the Presidential Lodge in Peduasi to discuss the economy, take stock of programs and chart a path for growth. The retreat, the second this year, which had almost all members of government present, started last Friday and discussed the various flagship programs, how to communicate government programs effectively, and the reason for accessing, I beg your pardon, the International Monetary Fund program. We're looking for something around 1.5 billion American dollars. The engagement started sometime yesterday with the IMF team in Parliament, the Parliamentary Legal and Constitutional Affairs Committee, finance gurus in the system, all of them meeting. Fruitful discussions so far, it would appear, but there's quite a lot, isn't it, in terms of expectancy about whether we can even get a program from the IMF and what we would do. Already we've heard people in the agri sector and all of that bidding or pitching for some of the money, which we're told will be going into debt servicing, among other things. Your quick thoughts on the IMF program and the way forward, very, very quickly.
Yes, it's unfortunate we have arrived at where we are now, and it's partly due to poor management, partly due to our ability to ensure prudence in the use of financial resources, and then also government push charts. Because sometimes some of these things, ideas are thrown out to government, but government will throw them out. And now here we are. We're already here. So the way forward is that they need to be sober and then reflect on things that really work for us. There are a lot of programs this government has thrown out. The ones that are not working, they should be bold enough to cancel them. They should not think of deceiving themselves that, look, if we throw them out, we are going to suffer during the campaign and all that. Get a few ones that you can run well going, so that at the end of the day, you can make some gains and then use it to campaign during elections. Let us also know that the exercise they are going through is not only for elections, but it's for the sustenance of this country, and that they owe it a duty to themselves and the state that once we have given them the mandate to run on our behalf, they need to make sure that our resources are used for the betterment of the people. For that matter, they need to take very important decisions that will stand the test of time. Right. And they must be very accommodating to issues or ideas from whatever cover. Even if the ideas are coming from, excuse my language, the devil, and it can help this country, why not? They must be in a position to use it to address this challenge, because this is a time that we can't throw any beautiful idea away because we are running out of time.
And then quickly to wrap with the Daily Graphic, request to freeze Sir John's assets. I told you we'll be going back to Sir John. Special prosecutor to appeal High Court's ruling. Now, the special prosecutor, Kisia Jabing, has served notice to appeal the High Court's dismissal of his application seeking confirmation to freeze the assets of the late former Chief Executive Officer of the Forestry Commission, Kwadwo Owusu-Afriyie. The application filed on June 9, 2022 was seeking to effectuate the freezing order on the assets. So just to, and the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I don't know whether it was Kisia Jabing himself manning the Twitter handle or the social media handle. He had a bit of a banter with another person. But the core point is he is saying the justice of the High Court erred in the sense that it's a freezing order and they want a continuation of same so investigations and other matters can be held. Not a confiscation order, which would then mean that he is pushing for Sir John and all these assets to be confiscated, basically, so they will not be accessible to anybody indefinitely. I don't know. And he makes it clear here that the Office of the Special Prosecutor is going to continue with its investigations, and that such moves by the justicial system will only go to, impact the fight against corruption. What's your take on this, Doc?
Oh, I think it's a simple matter. Those who are in law understand the language of the court very well. I believe that if you go to court and you are not satisfied with the decision of the court, you know what to do. And being an experienced lawyer, he knows what to do. So we want to wait. And then he carry out his, program of going to the next court for a review so that we can all come back and reflect on them. But for now, I believe that he knows what to do. Let him proceed and let's see how the justice system would deliver the public good for us.
Let's get to the Ghanaian Times newspaper. I was talking to you a short while ago about free SHS and some of the hobbling difficulties we've been facing. I heard Kwesi Kwarteng, PRO of the Ghana Education Service, yesterday, and it was not very comforting. But Child Rights International is saying IMF program should not affect free SHS. Mr. Bright Appiah pictured there. That story on page 15. In fact, page 15 of the paper. We also have immigration personnel put on high alert on Ghana-Burkina Faso border at Mognori to avert terrorist attack. Story on page 17. Let's just take a few thoughts from there. And personnel of the Ghana Immigration Service have intensified patrols at the Ghana-Burkina Faso border at Mognori and Ghana-Togo border in Boku in the Upper East region to avert any acts of terrorism. The heavy security detail at the border towns has been occasioned by suspected terrorist attacks that claim 2 lives, including a local imam at a village called Benyaile in neighboring Burkina Faso. So quite a bit of concern in there. But hold your thoughts. I'll just add this one so you can share your thoughts on them as well. Let's focus on influencing global economic order. President Akufo-Addo urges African leaders. And then, again, 1,300 killed in road crashes from January to June 2022. The numbers are easing compared to last year, but they are still rather bad. And tied to that, yesterday we heard of the incident of the MCE for Bibiani Anriaso Bekwai, who had an accident. There was an accident and his driver, suspected to have been killed. He himself supposedly receiving treatment. Your quick reflections on these stories. So IMF program should not affect free SHS, Child Rights International. The security issue as far as immigration personnel at Mognori are concerned, and 1,300 killed in road crashes, like I'm telling you, an MCE also, struggling for his life, basically.
I'll start with the SHS program and the IMF. There's no doubt that this free senior high school program is a good one. But the stark reality is that, look, we don't have what it takes to manage it. So there will be a reflection on that. Yes, it is our hope and prayer that this program will be sustained. But look, we can't be confident about that because IMF will scrutinize it. And if they believe that they need to maintain, they will maintain. Otherwise, they can throw it away. Let's wait and see what their decision will be. But for now, we can't be sure because for them, they do proper assessment. You see, as soon as you get to IMF, the meaning is that you are unable to manage your resources very well. So once they come in, they want to ensure prudent management of resources to attract results. And that, if they stand on that, they are going to stand on that, anything can happen to that program. So we must brace ourselves for the decision that will come from IMF. Then the issue of terrorism, it is a big one. Because if you look at the sub-region, we are inundated with cases of terrorism. We have been lucky, and I think God will continue to protect us. But we also need to help ourselves. What am I saying that? Sometimes we think it's the duty of government to ensure that we are safe. We as a people owe it to ourselves that first and foremost, we must survive. And our survival depends upon our very effort that we give toward the state to protect us. So the immigration people, the security people are doing their bit, but we must also volunteer information to them. We must also support them in various ways. When we see something, we must report something. And that they also must be up and doing and then do the needful to protect all of us. It is a joint program between security people and we as citizens of this country. It is not a one-way traffic. Then the issue about road accident. It's unfortunate that we continue to lose lives, precious lives, on our roads, simply because there are carelessness on our road. There are certain difficulties. There are engineering problems. There are even things that we have not taken proper look at. If you look at, for instance, even within Accra, there are a lot of broken down traffic lights. We have complained time and again, and no solution is found. Yet there are people whose duty it is to maintain this, and they draw salary on the public purse, and yet we have this problem. And they are the source of what accident that we have. If you go to the hinterlands and other places, we have bad roads and all that create this problem. And of course, we have people who are careless about what the rules governing driving and all that. I think going forward, the police must be up and doing and strengthening the surveillance program. Government must also come in to ensure that the roads are fixed so that we don't create opportunity for these things to happen. And of course, those who manage and maintain the road systems, lights and all that, they must also be seen to be working. When we get all these things right, I'm sure, and a continuous education about what road safety must be strengthened. Once we put all these bases right, we'll get it right and then save lives for this country.
Let's take a few more stories from 3 different papers very quickly. Republic Press, Ghanaians need to see evidence of your 30% salary cut. Professor Jampo to Ekufuado, your own colleague there. That's in Republic Press. They also have Kola Choke's government. Then the Daily Guide newspaper. We have mid-year budget review postponed. That is on the back of the engagements with the team from the IMF. A National Cathedral, government risks $8 million judgment debt over buildings demolished. I don't know which of those issues you would like to tackle, but since we're wrapping the conversation, let me also maybe just sneak these by you in case you might be interested in talking about them. Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia will be speaking tomorrow on the economy, specifically while we're going the way of the IMF. There is that assertion by the NDC that there is a move for Ghanaians to register for election 2024 with the Ghana card. And there is an engagement today at the NDC's headquarters. And there's also the issue of one knee, i.e., if you remember the Arise Ghana demonstration, who was hit in his eye with a bullet. Now he is blind. Pick and choose your issues, and we can wrap with them.
I think I will start with the Ghana card. All right. This Ghana card is an important one. If you go to advanced democracies, they have so many cards that they use to run their elections. We don't have the situation. That's not the case in Ghana. But once we have something that is going, we can incorporate a lot of data in. Why not? We have spent so much in developing this Ghana card. So if that is what we are going to use for the election, fine. I don't think that it's a problem. But if there is a certain there are ideas
the point is that so many people are still unregistered, and you know what implications that would have.
Oh, if you really want to use it for election, you can disenfranchise people by not allowing them to register. So definitely they have to open it up for people to register so that they can also exercise their right when it comes to election. That they have to do that. But for me, I support the Ghana card because it saves us of every year going to have a new voter register where people go to court and all that. We can count the number of times that we have raised issue about voter register and all that. So if we firm this, I think it will cure all that mischief that we have within our electoral system, so that we can have something credible for elections.
Right.
Let me also come into what Jampo said about the cuts. Right. I agree with him because you see, government must walk the talk of letting us know how much is being derived from that exercise. And we want to see evidence of that. Because for all you know, the amount that we were talking about, the cuts, that is not what we are seeing. And then for people to gain confidence in the system, it's in line with good governance agenda, where we said everything government does, there must be opportunity for people to assess and for people to ensure that there is transparency. So it is incumbent upon them to be able to make it transparent for us to see. If you look at the money that they are raising from this, it tells you that there's no point having this big government that doesn't help anybody. Right. After all, we have seen that the size of government did not help anybody. It just was an exercise to just, support food soldiers and party people because the results are out here. We have gone to IMF. So what is the evidence that the government wanted us to wait and have? There is no evidence. So the earlier the government reduce the size of the government, the better, so that we can save little money and put them into proper use.
Doc, thank you so much for your time this morning. Thank you for bearing it all. And we wish you the very best of the day, sir.
I'm grateful. Have a great day.
Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante, of course, Director for the Center for European Studies, also a political scientist at the University of Ghana. Time now for us to cede and allow the sporting crew to come through. Local sports, international sports, all coming your way. Do stay.